Everyone is talking about this second-year player who's standing out at the Bills' OTAs so far. This is not because of flashy plays or big news, but just because of how different he looks compared to last year. After a rocky rookie season, safety Cole Bishop is making a lot of changes for his second year. My name is Maeve Miller. I'm part of the Bills Digest team, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bills Digest for all the latest updates during the offseason. Starting off, I want to talk about some of these struggles that he faced. So Bishop was originally drafted in the second round, and obviously he's a safety, but he sustained a shoulder injury during the first couple weeks of training camp, and he ended up missing most of that in the first two games of the season, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but missing training camp was a lot of crucial developmental time, and he wasn't able to have as many snaps with the team and just kind of feel it out. So I think that was a big factor in why he didn't play as well this season. Obviously, as a rookie, the transition can be difficult from college to the NFL, and he just wasn't playing like himself. And he played in 34% of snaps for the defense, but had more of a focus on special teams, where he played in 52% of snaps. During the season, he totaled 40 tackles, and his highest in his career was 10 tackles during the AFC Championship, but that kind of felt like he was more being targeted. His receivers were getting the ball a lot more because I think they knew that Bishop was a little bit of the weaker link compared to the other safeties, but he still managed to make some good tackles. And he kind of came at a time in the Bills' defense where there's a lot of shifting in the secondary the last couple of years. The safeties and the cornerbacks, a lot of movement and changes, especially with the loss of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer at the safety position. So that, along with being drafted in the first couple rounds, is a lot of pressure and high expectations. When you have a rookie, you want them to be a starter and play amazing, but a lot of times that just doesn't happen. So I feel like in this situation, the expectations were just extremely high, and sadly, because of the injury and not really gelling with the team as well because of the training camp, he was not able to do that. But he isn't a very extremely athletic guy. He's tall, over 6'3", 200 pounds, so he does have a lot of talent, but it just wasn't seen as much last year. And this was a tweet that is very harsh, but I feel like it kind of represents what we saw. It said last year he looked like a lost tentative high school kid when he put out there. I feel like that is true to a certain level. You just tell when he was on the field, he didn't really know what he was doing or was too in his head, and it was pretty stressful. When he'd go in instead of Hamlin or Taylor Rapp, because I feel like Taylor Rapp definitely stood out compared to the other two. It just was kind of a struggle, and you could see his receivers getting targeted the most. And notably, there was a play against the Texans where he kind of looked the wrong way on defense, and all of a sudden, CJ Stroud threw a 67-yard pass, and the Texans ended up scoring against them, and that was just a big moment where he said he learned a lot and got chewed out by some of the other defensive players. So I think it's all a learning experience, and that's why we are seeing some improvements in year two. So that's what I want to talk about, is just some changes that we're seeing so far. Obviously, it's the Friday of week one, so it is very early to be talking about these things, but I think what people have been seeing so far has been very promising. He just had time to get comfortable in Buffalo. He said that he came back extra early just to have more time and more get settled at home, and he also has been spending a lot more time with Taylor Rapp on and off the field. You can see they kind of have similar playing styles, so I think them being able to gel and communicate well has been very helpful. And during these OTAs, it's not just staff that's noticing it, other players have been, and this includes Cam Lewis. He said he's just getting more comfortable and then just going out there being himself, playing his style of football, which is flying around, being smart, and just trying to make plays. So he's going to continue to learn, but he's been doing a really great job so far. I think that's a big part, is that Bishop said that he was so focused on being in the right spot at the right time, which is not uncommon for a rookie, that he would kind of just forget to rely on his instincts and his high IQ. So I think that's what's been a big change. He's more confident. He's been communicating. People said that it was his voice that you could hear on the field, just trying to make sure everyone's on the same page, especially with Rap. And yeah, so I think the confidence, communication, and comfortability is three big things. And he also has been learning the defense, which is a big factor, learning the system of play and the style. And McDermott was really pleased to see what he saw. McDermott said he's seen Bishop making strides. You want a young player, to understand the system to the point where he can play fast and you can see his true skill set. I think Cole is already through the football school the phase 2 days. I think that's a big factor, is that once you learn, you can, like you said, rely on your own instincts and your own, intelligence of knowing these football players. So I think that's been a big step. And when you want your defense to all be on the same page, so I think this is really exciting. And obviously we'll have to see what happens. But like everyone has been talking about this that relates to the Bills, including Joe Buscaglia, and he said why Cole Bishop appears to have taken a step forward to begin year two. So it is still early, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's like a huge overreaction from Bills fans, but it is just exciting to see that one of our defensive players is making strides, especially when you draft a rookie in like the first couple of rounds. You want him to be exciting because you use a big draft pick on him. So that leads into my next point, which is just about the safety starting roles. And right now, there's a lot that could be happening with that. McDermott has said specifically that the depth chart is loose this time of year, and he's not, picking any starters just quite yet. It's kind of anyone's game, and there has been a lot of competition. Players like Rapp, Hamlin, and Bishop have all been competing, and Bishop said, like, you want to hate the guy that you're competing with, but he loves his teammates, he loves his guys, he's been spending a lot of time with them on and off the field, and I think that's just a huge positive. And he even said still has to work on technical things, playing faster, playing better, but that comes with time. And these are the three safeties right now that the Bills have, and they re-signed Hamlin and they signed free agent Derek Forrest, so they are bringing in some new guys. And there was some talk about the trio of Bills players, Hamlin, Rapp, and Bishop, being the most underwhelming trio in the league. That was from Sports Illustrated, so obviously that's a big phrase, and I think they're going to try to, work against that and prove people wrong, because the Bills have had very strong safeties in the past, and I think this is the time when they're going through a transition. So that's why I'm saying if Cole Bishop steps up and plays well, I will be so excited. I am a little doubtful because just watching him last year was a little stressful, but I trust McDermott. I trust all these guys that are saying these things. So there has been some concern over the safety position, and I just think Bishop right now is a lack of experience, which is why maybe he wouldn't be in the starting role over Hamlin, because I feel like Taylor Rapp does have one of those spots on lock. DeMar Hamlin has obviously made an amazing recovery, and he's a great player, but I feel like him and Bishop both just aren't the players that I want out there all the time. And they also brought up that Bishop and Rapp play similarly as at the safety position and not as much as a coverage player. So they're talking about like would they want two players that play the exact same on the field at the same time, whereas Hamlin might bring in a little different aspect. So I think it is interesting to see. And obviously, we still have a couple more weeks, months till the season begins. So there's only improvement up from here. And hopefully, it is just the OTAs right now, but hopefully during training camp and the preseason, we can see Bishop get out there and just get more experience. I think that's the key thing, is that he didn't have as many experience. Like, he did play in 16 games last season, but he didn't play as many snaps. So I think getting him more reps with the team and just getting the defense on the same page, because as we know, the offense is so strong. I feel like we don't really have to make too many changes, but there are a lot of changes coming with the defense when it comes to the O-line, safeties, cornerbacks, and I think it's all just going to work together nicely this season. So with Bishop, we'll be monitoring that in the coming weeks and just seeing how he's going to play, see what people are saying about him. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and I feel like it's a very positive thing for the Bills. Thanks for watching. Once again, please subscribe to our Bills Digest YouTube channel, and go Bills.